All right, we are going to work through this third review problem that is on the back of the calendar page in your notes packet. We have a graph that's given to us. It shows a line on that graph, and then there are 4 equations, and it's asking us to say which equation is that line that's graphed in the question there. So there's a couple different ways we can answer this question, but from what we have learned in class, what we are going to be doing is we are going to work our way through each one of those answer choices, moving it into slope-intercept form and seeing which one of these equations matches up with the slope and the y-intercept that's on this graph. So the first thing we need to do is determine what is the y-intercept of this line and what is the slope of this line. So let's zoom in a little bit so we can see better. And we take a look at our line and we see that it is crossing our y-axis here. Remember, y-axis is going up and down. And our line is crossing our y-axis right here at -1. So I'm going to put a point on -1, and I might make a little note to myself over here on the left that b equals -1. The letter b is our y-intercept in our slope-intercept form, right? Y equals mx plus b. M is our slope. M equals, to find our slope, I need to find another place where this line is crossing an intersection of grid marks. So this point right here would work, and it looks like that's the only one that would work. To get from this point to that point, if I'm going rise over run, I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1, 2. All right, here we go. So up 5 and over 2. Oh, so up 5 over 2. All right. So I look at my answer choices, and I still cannot figure out, just based on the information that's given to me, which one of those answer choices has a y-intercept of -1. I don't even see a -1 anywhere in those answer choices. And I don't see a slope of 5 over 2. I see a bunch of 5s and I see a bunch of 2s, but I don't see that fraction specifically. So I'm just going to play the elimination game, and I'm going to work through each one. I'm going to work through A. If it is answer A, then good, I'm done. If it's not A, I'll move on to B. If it's not B, I move on to C. And if it's not C, then that means it has to be choice D. So here we go. We are going to turn each one of these, which are in standard form, into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to rewrite this first one. 2x plus 5y equals -5. Essentially, I'm trying to get the y by itself, just like the equation we did last class when we did above this here, where I'm taking this equation and I am trying to isolate this y all by itself. I'm doing the same thing down here. I'm just going to do it 3 separate times. Hopefully less. Maybe the answer is choice A, or maybe it's B. I don't know. I want to get the y by itself, so I have to remove the x. So minus 2x minus 2x. That leaves me with 5y equals -2x minus 5. Remember, I cannot combine 5 and 2x because the 5 does not have an x on it. So I can't say -5 minus 2. That doesn't work. So I just rewrite them separately as their own individual terms. I want y by itself. If I want to turn 5 into 1, that means I have to divide it by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And that way I'm down to 1y. What I do on one side of the equal sign, I do to the other. So I have y equals negative 2 over 5x minus 1. I look at my slope, it's negative 2 over 5. Well, my slope over here is 5 over 2. This is what I want. This is what I have. Right? Two separate things. This is what I want. This is what I have. Two separate things. So that cannot be the correct answer choice. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Maybe B is our answer choice. Draw a little line to separate out my work. Let's see. We've got 2x minus 5y equals 5. 2x minus 5y equals positive 5. 2x minus 5y equals 5. Same process. Move the x from the left side to the right side. Negative 5y equals negative 2x plus 5. That's a positive 5, so we're putting a plus 5. Again, remember I cannot combine those two because one has an x and one does not. Again, I'm going to divide by negative 5. What I do on one side, I do to everything on the other side. You can either write it this way, like I just did, where you're dividing individually terms by negative 5, or you can set it up the way I did on the first one, where it's one big fraction line, put your 5 underneath. Both are okay. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1, which is what I want. 1y equals a positive 2 over 5x. A negative divided by negative is positive. Positive 5 divided by negative 5 is negative 1. So now I go and I look, say my slope is 2 over 5. Is that what I want it to be? No, I want my slope to be 5 over 2. It can't be choice B. So A is out, B is out. That means I have to try choice C. If it's choice C, then that's the right answer. If it's not choice C, then I know my correct answer is D. So no matter what, this is going to be the last one that I have to do. So I'm going to draw a little line to give myself an area to work in. And then hopefully that'll be enough space. Okay. So we'll write out what's given to us, 5x plus 2y equals negative 2. Subtract 5x. Subtract 5x. I get 2y equals negative 5x minus 2. I'm going to rewrite this up here and continue my work. So 2y equals negative 5x minus 2. I divide by 2. I divide by 2, and I divide by 2. And I get y equals negative 5 over 2x. I have a negative divided by a positive, so my answer is negative. And then here I have a negative divided by a positive again, so my answer is a negative 1. Negative 5 over 2 is my slope. Is that what I want? No, I want positive 5 over 2. So that means my answer choice has to be choice D. It was not A, it was not B, it was not C. It has to be choice D. This is good practice, moving things from standard form into slope-intercept form. If you have questions about this, you're not understanding why I'm doing what I'm doing, please make sure you're asking me in class or you're asking your teacher. Otherwise, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next class.